Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 4. Hopefully, we got through all the hassles with week 3 and everyone figured out the assignment. I hope I was able to help you. I'm sorry if there was any confusion. Moving on to week 4, there is, well, let's go into it so you can really see. So the first discussion board is on field trips. Field trips are an important part of many programs and children's experiences in preschool. There is not a lot of information in the textbook, so we kind of have to go rogue here for a little bit. But I think it's worth talking about because field trips are something that we all do, and there's something to be thoughtful about getting ready for them and how to use them in the classroom. So what I'd like you to do is to locate an article that talks about field trips in preschool, and it can be anything about field trips in preschool. I'd like you to read what each other finds. So if you could, I'd like you to find a good article about where to go, how to get ready for a field trip, or again, different ideas of field trips. So an article. Then I would like you to post the link for your article to the discussion board along with a summary of what your article is about. So go in and then into your discussion board and then copy and paste the link from the URL up here. Just copy and paste it and then paste it into your discussion board. I'll do one for you just because then you'll see what it is I'm looking for. And then read 2 of your classmates' articles and then I'm sorry. Okay. So after you post an article, then write a summary of what your article is about. Then read 2 of your classmates' articles and summaries and comment on the information. So that's one field trip or one discussion board. The second discussion board is a teacher's role in field trips. Okay, so there are many things we need to do to pull off a successful field trip. And if you think about field trips, I know anyone who's gone on them, there's something nightmares are made of. You worry and worry and worry you're going to lose a kid, it's not going to go well, whatever it is. They really do give you nightmares. And if you haven't been a teacher on a field trip, maybe you were a parent on a field trip, or possibly you remember field trips when you were a child. Although I think children remember field trips as all good without realizing how much work it is for the adults. So what I'd like you to do for the discussion board for the teacher's role is I want you to think of 4 things that you do before you take a group of children on a field trip. So let's say you want to go on a field trip. What are 4 things you need to do before the field trip day? Then 4 things that you will need to do on the day of the field trip. So the day of the field trip or on the field trip, what do you need to do? And then 4 things you will need to do, not need to do, but you should do or can do after you go on a field trip. So when you get back from a field trip in the days following, how do you follow up with a field trip? Read 2 posts and respond because there's no article to read. I hope you share your thoughts and come up with some good share your thoughts and together come up with some good thoughts. So I think everybody, there is no serious right or wrong answer. I'll fill in what you might not have thought of as far as the answers, but I'd really like you just to brainstorm and think about those questions. So field trip ideas to share. So what I would like you to do is think about going back to the social studies bullseye, which I'm sure you're tired of hearing about, and knowing that children are egocentric and knowing how close um, 2 through 6-year-olds are to the center of the bullseye, think about field trips as things that will relate to children. Okay, so examples of what would not relate to children is taking them to, for example, a planetarium, trying to have them understand space and planets and stars. Looking at stars would be the only important thing that you could do. Hang on, my son's calling me. So again, think about that. And then what I'd like you to do is go to a Padlet link. So if you click on here, this might be the first time you've ever done a Padlet, but if you click here, it will go to this. What you need to do is you click on it. So Haley's already done it, and she did it exactly right. So you're going to look at her things, and that's exactly what you need to do. Is if you click on this, you will be able to post yourself. And then what I'd like you to do is take a look at everybody else's and put a heart on the ones that you think are one of your classmates that has any really good ideas, just to kind of give everybody some good feedback. Okay, then what I'd like you to do is read this information. So this talks about, so after we go on field trips, we've experienced something, the whole class has experienced a trip to the grocery store, okay? Now, how can you use the fact that we were all just at the grocery store in your classroom? And the way is through dramatic play. So we're segueing over to dramatic play now. And I'd like you to read this information. This is talks about where dramatic play is found, what dramatic play is, and then there's two articles here. One is the copy of the teacher's role in dramatic play, and the other one is enhancing your dramatic play area through pop boxes. So those are two articles I'd like you to read. So read that, read the information. And then the next discussion board is, as we move on from field trips, we look at the important piece of bringing back what the children have experienced into the classroom to extend lessons. For example, okay, I just actually illustrated this when we were talking. So what would you add to the classroom in order to set up remind them of the grocery store experience? So some things that you might add are some fake food, cash register, shopping carts, so children can act out what they saw and experienced. Choose a field trip from someone's list that you just did on Padlet or from your own list, and describe a dramatic play you could set up to extend the children's experience. In it, include the name of the place that you visited on the field trip, grocery store, you went to Woodman's, list of materials that you could set up in your dramatic play area to extend the play. So you're going to list materials, and I'm not requiring you to a certain number. I would try to do at least 5, but you have to, you have to think of things that you would want to include. So I think you need at least 5. Respond to 2 people with any additional items that they could add to their list of materials. So you don't have to say, you don't have to do a big post and agree with somebody and add to the conversation. All you need to do is say, hey, you might want to think about doing pretend credit cards or checkbooks or something like that. So that's what you need to do. Then there's also a short video here on pretend play. These are all closed. These past year you won't see. There's another link on 4C. So 4C is Community Coordinated Childcare in Madison. They have prop boxes you can check out. So this is a link to that. There's also another little video that's a really good video on dramatic play, and then just an article on dramatic play. And we'll be using these more next week, but just wanted to put them here in case somebody wanted to get a head start on that. So where we're going to go is this week we're going to work on that. Next week we are going to finish up dramatic play, and we're going to go to sensory. And then after the week after that, we're going to have our first exam. Something to note for exams, there will be application exams. This means I will not be asking you verbatim questions. Instead, I will be having you use the knowledge that we've been talking about in order to do an exercise. So I think that they're a little bit easier than rote exams. I think it's a little bit more enjoyable, I think, but that will be the week after next. So I hope everyone has a fantastic afternoon. I hope I have everything right in Blackboard so you understand this week. Thanks for everyone's patience. I really am working hard to try to make this a good experience for you in a brand new class. So I know there's been some hiccups, but I'm still working. And please email me if you have any questions or problems. I'm always available to help you. And I will talk to you next week. Thanks.